What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that's the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does, that helps make sure that those who are subscribed to this channel will indeed get their notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm as well. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today, we have to discuss something that was stated by Bernie Sanders. I believe it was this past weekend on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Bernie Sanders pretty much just ended Kamala Harris's campaign by saying the quiet part out loud, as most people would say, right? But I would state that in this particular situation, Bernie Sanders actually stated the obvious part out loud. So I want to get into that right now. And what I want to do is jump into this Fox News clip. It's a clip that I referenced in an earlier video, but I didn't play it out in its completion. But I do want to get to it now concerning Donald Trump's polling, but most importantly and specifically about what Bernie Sanders stated this weekend that, in my opinion, has completely destroyed Kamala Harris's campaign.
And this poll is being called one of Trump's most overlooked advantages. Voters see Trump as closer to the center than Harris, and nearly half of all voters say that Harris is too liberal or progressive. That explains all of her flip-flopping. Those policies, they simply won't get her to the White House. But just ask Bernie Sanders. He seems to know this.
You have described Vice President Kamala Harris as a progressive. She has previously supported Medicare-for-all. Now she does not. She's previously supported a ban on fracking. Now she does not. These, Senator, are ideas that you have campaigned on. Do you think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election.
He literally just stated that Kamala Harris, she's just talking just to be talking. She's just saying whatever she needs to say to win the election. Can we play that one more time? Can we play it? He's literally admitting that Kamala Harris has not abandoned any of her progressive ways at all. She's just saying what needs to be said to win the election. I want to hear Bernie one more time. Let's listen to him admit the obvious part out loud.
Progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election.
I don't know how you say something like that and don't think that that's going to completely destroy her chances at winning, which it does. If you look at the polling and what it represents, and especially the importance of tomorrow's upcoming debate, undecided voters, independents, the jury is still out on Kamala Harris concerning them. They're not so sure that they can trust Kamala Harris. They don't really know anything or much about her because she decided to run a campaign from her basement where she doesn't give unscripted one-on-one interviews. She doesn't do press conferences. She really doesn't show her face and speak at all, right? So they're undecided about her. They don't really know. And this states right here to those who are undecided that she's a liar. She's just saying whatever she has to say to win the election. So then you have to ask yourself, does the debate even really matter at this point? She can say whatever she wants to say in the debate. At this point, she could win the debate. And what would that actually mean in the grand scheme of things? It would mean nothing, because Bernie Sanders is admitting to you right now that essentially Kamala Harris is a liar. Kamala Harris is an extreme flip-flopper. This is all something that we know to be true, but Bernie Sanders is sitting here admitting that for himself. We've literally sat here and discussed, laughed at, poked fun at the reality that Kamala Harris has even gone as far as to steal Donald Trump's policies. We've heard Kamala Harris say she wants to build the border. We've heard Kamala Harris say that she wants to put in place no tax on tips, another Donald Trump policy. At this point, Kamala Harris might as well come out and say on day one, we're going to drill, baby, drill, and start cackling afterwards, showing all her teeth while she's laughing. She might as well, at this point, Kamala Harris might as well put a Make America Great Again hat on her head, because that's the extent that she's willing to go to win. She's willing to go that far to not just flip flop on policies on a whim, but to even go as far as to steal her opponent's policies and then pretend like she didn't do it. And what makes it even worse is that you have the mainstream media press, with the exception of, at this point, Fox News and the New York Post, but you have the mainstream media press that shields her from the hypocrisy. It shields her from the outright lies and protects her and lies on her behalf, just as we've discussed multiple times over concerning the border czar comment. It was DNC media that told us that she was the border czar. But then when it's time to replace Joe Biden, and now she's on the hot seat for all of the policies that she supported and got behind while being Biden's vice president, now all of a sudden she isn't the border czar because of the migrant crisis. Now all of a sudden it's fake news, misinformation, disinformation, it's conspiracy theory talk, and it's a false talking point that came from Republicans, despite the fact that all actual video evidence shows and displays that the border czar comments actually came from the DNC media. This is also, in closing, what continues to lead me to believe, and it's just my opinion on this, I truly believe that this is a throwaway campaign. A lot of you disagree with me on that, but I'm telling you, this feels like a throwaway campaign. They needed to do something as it pertains to replacing Biden. The DNC had to do something because the polls were showing that Biden was getting absolutely destroyed by Trump. And this is also given the fact that we all know that historically the polls underestimate Trump. So that means it would have been, dare I say, a bloodbath during the election, right? It would have been a bloodbath, so they needed to do something. So they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And here's Kamala Harris. But I don't believe that they ever had any real intentions on Kamala Harris winning, because they haven't ran like they wanted her to win, especially with picking Tim Walz over, I believe it's Shapiro in Pennsylvania. Excuse me. They're not running like they want her to win. When you look at the gaffes, the hypocrisy, the lies, the stumbles, the admissions that we're seeing from Bernie Sanders. These people like Bernie Sanders, he's a seasoned veteran. How do you say something like that? And then we all think to ourselves, oh yeah, that was just a mistake. To a certain degree, I am under the impression, and this is just me putting my tinfoil hat on, but I'm under the impression that all of this is deliberate. The lies, the gaffes, the overt hypocrisy, Kamala Harris taking Donald Trump's own policies and presenting them as her own. It feels like this is almost some sort of a weird test by the DNC to see how far can we go with the ridiculousness and still be able to possibly win an election with just outright lying, outright thievery, outright hypocrisy, and just plain old foolishness. Can we be as ridiculous as possible and still win the election? Can we even come close? Let's see, can we come close to winning with being completely ridiculous? And that's what it feels like to me. This feels like a throwaway election that has somewhat turned into an experiment by the DNC. They know she's not going to win. They didn't have any plans on her winning. But if she does win, like I stated before when I presented this question and my theory, if she does win, oh my God, what does that say about the power of mainstream media? And what does that say about, at that point, I guess you would say, the majority of America who is that gullible, who is that, dare I say, stupid? I don't know, but that would say a lot. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. And don't forget to please follow me on Telegram and Rumble. That is extremely important. Please follow me on Telegram and Rumble. Both my Telegram and Rumble links are in the description box below and will be pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time, and until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.